I've been waiting what feels like a year for a new global XP ship, and then it finally gets here, and it's a CV. Now, I'm not a carrier player, but gosh darn it if I wasn't pumped for the next GXP ship, so we're gonna cover it. It's really quite similar to Pobeda, and I believe it's pronounced Chkalov, except it doubles down on what really makes Soviet CVs powerful, and that would be skip bombs. Just take a look at this alpha damage per bomb. Yeah. Now, I'm not a CV player, and in 6 games, my average damage was 123k. Honestly, I think that number is going to climb pretty fast as I'm still figuring the controls out on this thing. What I'm getting at is this is a pretty powerful CV. As we watch this gameplay, though, I'll show you how to counter it. So if you're not a carrier player, it still might benefit you to see what this thing can do and how you can pretty easily counter it, to be honest. Here are the module choices, basically everything focused on squadron survivability and aircraft restoration. Our commander is Yevgeny Preobrazhensky, and I'm hopefully not butchering that too bad. Again, with this commander, everything is focused on those incredible skip bombs, and the rest of it is for torp speed because the torpedoes on Soviet CVs are very, very slow. So with fishy, contact is imminent, and Torpedo Master here, we get a little bit more speed, and they're easier to aim, still not that great though. When it comes to the stat differences between Chkalov and Pobeda, the Chkalov's planes are a little bit more tankier, although you have a smaller squadron size. Another thing to note about Chkalov here is the detectability range of the actual CV is atrocious. It is the worst carrier, I believe, in the game, but I'll be honest, I don't have all of the carrier stats written down and or memorized because, well, I just can't be bothered. But 12.7 kilometers is awful, so you're gonna wanna park this thing behind an island because that is pretty bad. Speaking of parking behind an island, we are gonna give it quarter throttle and just kind of sail up close to this island. Really, this is a CV that does a lot better if you're closer to the enemy. In fact, I would caution you, if you're in a battleship and you're trying to push this thing and maybe rush it one-on-one, be careful. Because the closer you get, the more dangerous this ship gets. Like mentioned, I'm not a carrier player, so don't expect master play here. In total, since carriers entered this game, I have played 157 matches. So yeah, like my most played ships have more games than every carrier battle that I have all put together. So feel free to critique me and give me some pointers down below if you have them. Some of you CV mains, yeah, go ahead and drop them below. But this is definitely not a masterclass on CV play, that is for sure. Also, about carriers. Yes, they're annoying to play against, but I still hear people talk about, removing them from the game, and to me that is so silly. They are here to stay, and I suppose I would say if you can't beat them, well, you might as well join them, and that is totally what we are going to do today. What I'm doing right now, I'm trying to find a target. A lone battleship, alone on the flank, sailing up by himself, is a perfect target for this ship, and it looks like the Georgia is going to be our first opportunity. Well, actually, the Plymouth. This thing decimates cruisers, and Plymouth is very, very scary. Granted, we are sailing all these planes right into a lot of AA, so we might lose a few of them, but dealing damage to these light cruisers, it could be worth it. It was not the best drop, if I'm being 100% honest. We only hit him with 3 good bombs. One of them was on the belt and it shattered, so only 12k, but you can quickly see the potential of these bombs. It can be kind of nuts if you catch a cruiser in the open or a destroyer like this Black Bee here. Now, one thing I'm going to say about this carrier, I don't feel like it is the best against fighting DDs, but if one of them is spotted and literally just lined up for you like this, you're absolutely going to clap their butt cheeks. Like, these bombs deal so much damage, you are going to clap them. Let's see here. 2 bombs, 8k. Now, granted, that was a little bit lucky RNG roll if you saw that one bomb just kind of curved over into Black's path here. But typically, if you were a destroyer and you're seeing this and you're like, that is bullcrap, that is so stupid, just turn in. If you simply turn in and make yourself a skinny profile, then these bombs are mostly going to miss you, and this is not the best CV, in my opinion, to counter destroyers. Now, we have our torpedoes here. They're pretty slow. They're very easy for destroyers to dodge, so we weren't going to take another pass at the Black. Not to mention our teammates were cleaning that guy's clock. but they're great against broadside battleships. And let's see how many torpedoes we land here. 5. 5 in a flood, so pretty good. These torpedoes are actually worse than the torpedoes, so that is one of the trade-offs. You get these super powerful skip bombs, and you lose a little bit of the torpedo prowess that the torpedo has. In the end, does it really balance out? I don't know. That is up for debate because the skip bombers were really what this line was all about to begin with. I definitely see the trade-offs when I look at the stats. Again, you know, for the 60 seconds that I compared stats. But yeah, I mean, even with the bad torpedoes, as you can see, if a battleship doesn't maneuver to dodge them, you are going to cream them. Absolutely. I feel like the torpedo line that the Chkalov drops here are very, very narrow, which is kind of cool. If you are attacking a bow-on target, there's a good chance that you could get quite a few hits. Here we have a lone battleship, so again, very easy target to drop here. The Bismarck. We get 3 pins and 1 fire, so again, you can see that I'm leaving so much potential damage on the board just because I'm not very good at these. In the hands of a skilled player, this thing is going to be very, very terrifying. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can counter them. 1, turning in, making yourself a narrow target. That is the best thing you can do. If you stay broadside to this, count up the alpha damage. We're dropping 5 planes, 6 planes at a time. You know, and the full alpha damage is over 13,000. So it's like taking it's like taking a battleship salvo. You have to angle to this thing. You can't just say, oh, it's a carrier, it'll be fine, because it won't be fine. And let's ask this Azerlane Baltimore how he feels about that. We actually get a pretty decent drop this time. 5 out of 5. We were actually short 1 plane there, but yeah, massive drop, half healthing a tier 7 heavy cruiser. So pretty darn powerful. You're just going to have to pay attention to these things and angle against them. If you're a lone battleship like that Bismarck, he did the perfect thing, just run. Because otherwise it's going to take so much time for me to cycle my aircraft and chase him down. So, you know, is it the most effective gameplay to run away from the cap? No, but if you keep sailing towards the cap, then the Chkalov, or me, I'm going to sink you. All right, so here we go. The Baltimore is in a bad position here. If he stays behind this island, he's going to eat my torpedoes. If he sails out, he's sailing right into the teeth of a battleship. So that is my thinking there. Let's see which choice he makes as we launch some more skip bombers here. Looks like he's going to take some of my torps. 3 of them. He took 3 and a flood, and I think our battleship should be able to finish him off. This is a moderately close game. For update day, you know, I played 6 battles in Chkalov and a couple in the new Schönberg, which, sorry guys, I think it's pretty vanilla and pretty boring, but we got a good match, so we'll cover that later this week. The Siegfried here was asking for help, so we are going to go help him, even though I'm not very good at countering destroyers, but we'll see what we can do here. But yeah, the games were pretty balanced today as far as update day goes. I saw some questionable gameplay, that is for sure, but overall not bad. All right, the cap is contested, so we turned this way. There's the Akatsuki. We're going to turn around this way. Now, IJNDDs have pretty good air spotting detection, so he's going to go dark. So the best thing I can do is slow down as much as possible, start my attack run, and then, yeah, he gets spotted. Now, unfortunately for him, he just didn't do enough evasive maneuvering, and that made that a pretty easy kill for me there. So again, if you're in a destroyer and you're seeing this and thinking, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, the sky is falling, you just have to angle. Also, turn your AA off. In situations like this, your Akatsuki, your Udachi, your Kagero, you're not going to shoot down any planes. Just hit right bumper and then A and toggle your secondary battery in AA. Turn them off. Otherwise, you're easier to spot for carriers. So yes, angle to skip bombers. Don't be a solo ship. Sail in groups. If you've noticed, you don't have very big squadron sizes and you don't have a good hangar size on Chkalov, so you have to be cautious with your airplanes. All right, Bismarck just ate a massive load of torpedoes from the hybrid battleship over here, and he just damage conned, so that is why we're actually going to turn and go after him, because I want to get a permanent fire. And with Chkalov, that is very easy to do. I think 1 bomb alone has a 49% chance to set a fire. So Helen Keller could have lined up this drop here and got a fire. Now, if you note there, that was again a bad drop on my part because I shattered 3 bombs on his belt. So again, I'm leaving a lot of damage on the table just because I'm not very good at this. You have to, it takes a little bit of skill, I will say, to line up the skip bombers. And they have reworked them since the last time I played them. You used to be able to just drop them on the one line right there, the very first line, literally drop them from your aircraft and cream a DD. It was a lot of fun, but also very cheap, and I hated playing against it, so I'm glad that Wargaming went ahead and balanced that. Their carrier played this smart. He sailed right into this island, and it means I'm going to have to turn way out here to try to get my bombs on him. And also the Chkalov, the couple times that I've just tried sniping CVs, it has pretty good belt armor, so you have to be careful and try to aim higher. But honestly, the New Orleans is out here a little bit, so let's go for New Orleans and see what we can do to a tier 6 cruiser. Maybe not the best drop, but 3 pins and 2 fires for the high cal. Yeah, this thing is a damage monster. Is it a little bit too potent? Maybe. Maybe. The bombs hit really hard. Now, I will say the 13K, that is because I'm using, is it Dufournet? The French commander that I've literally never used for anything. I've never put him on a French ship, I don't think. But for the inspiration for this, he adds a considerable amount to the alpha damage, 5%. It makes a pretty big difference. So if you are playing this thing, that is a good idea. You could do that. Now, I'm unsure about the penetration on the bombs, but I do believe Pobeda is 33 millimeters, so I am sure this is similar, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I don't know. I had some matches where I went up against a lot of AA ships, and it wasn't very fun. Friesland, Rochester, there was an Iowa, and it really made this experience not fun. So for those saying that AA doesn't matter, it definitely does matter. You might still get creamed, but in the long run, using AA ships, playing in groups with an AA bubble, it really does make a difference. And you can see my squadron sizes now over here on the right. It takes its toll by the end of the match on a ship like this. So keep doing it, you know, sail in groups, use your AA, use your DFAA. If you take a couple planes down, it's going to be worth it. The plane restoration time on this ship is over 100 seconds, I believe. And New Orleans is coming out here, and I think this should be a kill because he is flat broadside. We're going to get 1 skip, get him right above the belt. Oh yeah, 5 pins, another 2 fires. Yeah, they're probably going to have to tone down the fire chance or maybe the bomb alpha a little bit. Now, granted, the other parts of the ship, like the torpedoes being worse, the squadron sizes being bad, the concealment being bad, I don't know. It might need a little bit of balancing. I haven't really been on the receiving end of this in normal ships. I have played against several Chkalovs, you know, carrier versus carrier, and they've tried to snipe me. I don't know. It didn't seem that effective, honestly. So I'm not going to say it's completely overpowered, but it is nice to have another global XP ship in the game. I will say that it has been a very long time. I can't even tell you what the last global XP ship was. Was it Flander? I don't even remember. It's been so long, but it's good to see another ship that could be free into the game, even if it is a carrier. Let me know your guys' opinions below. I would love to hear from you. Are you happy about this update? I'm not, but we'll talk more about it later. I think it's a good update for new players, and it's not so great for people like me who have been here for 5 years. Anyways, that is the Chkalov, and I'll see you in the next one.